You know that friend, right? The one always talking about their next big move. The, I'm going to start a business. I'm going to get ripped. I'm going to write a book friend. They announce it to everyone, every coffee shop, every social media post, and then nothing. Just another promise whispered into the void. We've all been there, trapped in the performance trap, the endless need for external validation. We crave the applause before the act, the congratulations before the victory. But what if that very desire, that hunger for likes and affirmation, is precisely what's killing your dreams? What if the loudest you are about your goals, the less likely you are to achieve them? There's an ancient wisdom, often forgotten in our noisy world, that whispers a different path. A path where ambition isn't broadcast, but cultivated in the quiet chambers of your own being. It's called competitive silence. Not just silence for silence's sake, but silence as a strategic weapon. Silence as the ultimate competitive advantage. Let me tell you about Mark. Mark was the quintessential chatterbox. Every Monday he had a new game-changing idea. He'd corner anyone who would listen, detailing his grand plans. He wanted to start an online business, get in incredible shape, and learn to play guitar. He was passionate, articulate, charismatic even. But weeks turned into months, and the only thing that grew was his list of unfulfilled promises. Each announcement became a subtle burden, a self-imposed pressure that often led to paralysis. The energy he spent talking about his goals left little left to actually do them. Then came the breaking point, a quiet, humiliating realization that hit him like a cold wave. He looked around and saw others, less vocal, less flashy, quietly building, quietly succeeding. While he was still talking, they were doing. It was in that moment of profound personal silence that a new idea took root. An idea born from the bedrock of Stoicism. What if he disappeared? Not physically, but from the public narrative of his own ambition. What if he entered a monk mode for 6 months, not to escape, but to build himself anew? The first few weeks were agonizing. The urge to post a progress picture, to casually mention his new routine was immense. This is where the Stoic principle of dichotomy of control became his anchor. He couldn't control what others thought or said, but he could absolutely control his own actions, his own words, and most importantly, his own silence. He started small. Instead of announcing a gym routine, he just went. Instead of telling everyone about his business idea, he spent every spare hour learning, building, refining. He replaced the dopamine hit of external validation with the quiet, profound satisfaction of internal progress. His mantra became, "Let my actions be my only manifesto." This wasn't easy. There were days of doubt, of wanting to quit, days where the silence felt like a heavy burden. But in the absence of external noise, he found clarity. He discovered that the greatest battles are never fought in public. They are fought in the quiet solitude of your own mind, against procrastination, against fear, against the seductive lure of instant gratification. He learned that privacy is a power move. It protects your nascent dreams from the skepticism of others. It shields your fragile motivation from the judgment of those who haven't earned the right to comment. 6 months passed. The world, for the most part, had forgotten Mark's grand pronouncements. And then he resurfaced, not with a fanfare, not with an announcement. He simply was. His physique was transformed. His new online business was quietly generating revenue. He could play intricate melodies on his guitar. His friends, the ones who had once humored his endless talk, were stunned. Not because he had achieved his goals, though that was impressive, but because he had done it in silence. He hadn't sought their approval, he hadn't asked for their cheerleading. He had simply built himself, brick by brick, in the sanctuary of his own discipline. His results spoke for themselves, louder than any words ever could. This is the profound lesson of competitive silence. First, your energy is finite. Don't waste it on talking about your goals. Invest it in doing them. Second, external validation is a fleeting high. Internal validation, the quiet satisfaction of knowing you did the work, is the bedrock of true self-worth. Third, privacy protects your dreams. Let your actions mature and solidify before exposing them to the world. Fourth, true discipline isn't about grand gestures, it's about the relentless, consistent, and often unseen effort you put in when no one is watching. Imagine if you, right now, committed to competitive silence. What could you build in 3 months, 6 months, a year? What kind of person could you become if you removed the noise and focused solely on the signal? The world doesn't need another loud promise. It needs silent execution. It needs people who are too busy building to talk about it. So, step back, disappear for a while. Let your silence be your greatest statement. And then, when you're ready, let your transformed self do all the talking. Thank you for listening. Now go build in silence.